Because I'm exactly what you made me.
You want to talk about blame, boy? You want to talk about blame? All you've done so far is give me mess after mess to clean up.
D-Wiz.
You don't know shit, Kanan. You just don't. Yeah, I killed them. They were coming. Neek, Buck 20's people. They wanted payback, and they wasn't gonna settle until somebody fell for what y'all boys did. And I wasn't gonna let them kill you, so it had to be a friend.
She tell you she had me through it?
Since Famous is officially joined the upper room and he's no longer with us in power anymore, right? We gotta get into this shit. We gotta get into, like, who was the one who probably most likely had Famous clip. Now, before I get started on today's video, yo, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, get on in here now, because we gotta get into this shit. So I have it's my take. I have a take on this, who I think who probably maybe ordered the hit, or maybe who probably could have killed Famous, right? So we just gonna go off the bat with it. We're gonna talk about Rock, because remember how what Rock did to D-Wiz, right? Because she got rid of D-Wiz to protect Kanan, right? And I still think, and I've been talking about this for a minute now on the channel, where I'm like, even though I get it, in the last season, Kanan, killed Ronnie to protect Rock because he didn't like what Ronnie was doing. We understand that, but I think that they're trying to build a story here where it's like a slow burn and a slow turn for Kanan to be like, okay, forget all of this. Like, you basically killed two of my best friends, right? If Rock has something to do with it. But we do know that she had D-Wiz killed, but what if she actually had Famous killed as well? Because it's like, come on now. When it comes down to like law enforcement or anything, Rock is like, she's on that shit. Rock is on that shit, because remember when Howard, when he was telling her like, oh, he doesn't have a badge anymore, people starting to look at him, and she already put together like the plan. She already simulated the plan, like, okay, you're the problem, you have heat on you, there's no heat on the family, so I can get rid of you right now because you're technically the problem and you got heat on you, which she did. And then little behold, what happened when the police had their whole little speech, and they was talking, and it was just like, oh, basically Howard was in business with Ronnie. That business was settled, done and done, and that was it. So we do know that when it comes down to law enforcement or anything, Rock is on board. She's on board with that shit. She's gonna make sure the family is protected. So again, I still believe that Rock probably maybe had Marvin do it. Maybe she did it herself. Who knows? Because again, it wouldn't be the first time that Rock would have gotten her hands dirty. Maybe Rock did it herself this time. Maybe Marvin didn't do it. But it's like, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the slow turn of maybe potentially Kanan might have that reason for later on for maybe turning on Rock. And maybe if Unique didn't do it, maybe it will also prove another point of Kanan just, moving the way he's moving, and he's trying to really be separate away from Rock. Or maybe that turn will probably come in maybe season 5, where he's just like, Rock's the problem, Rock has to go. Because if Kanan ain't really thinking about this, then something's wrong here. Because again, D-Wiz, that was his man's. As when older Kanan was explaining in the story about how D-Wiz was his man's, and I think if D-Wiz didn't go, then it would have been Kanan, D-Wiz, and probably Breeze in the streets. All three man. No Diddy, but it would have been that going forward if D-Wiz didn't get killed off so early. But it happened the way it did. So again, all eyes is still on Rock, because I think that maybe Rock did it. But then, as I said before, all eyes are still on Marvin, because maybe he probably did it because of the orders of what Rock probably told him to do, and be like, I need you to take out Famous, because I can't trust the fact that Famous is going to keep his mouth shut. So it's like, no, Fame has to go. And then the way that Fame died, I seen this meme where it was in the power community that somebody put, it's sad that how you have Famous go out that way and he died under some pussy mattresses. And I was like, damn, you're kind of not wrong there, because the shit was them funky mattresses that he died underneath, and I'm like, oh shit, like that shit looked horrible. But I digressed on that part. But I'm still thinking Rock probably has something to do with it. I'm gonna still say Rock, right? Ordering either Marvin to do it, or maybe she did it herself, because again, when it comes down to protecting the family, she's like a mother hen, she's Mother Goose. She's gonna make sure everybody's protected. She's gonna cut anybody fucking loose. So I think Rock probably has something to do with it. Now, the other person who I think, I mean, it does sort of make sense in a way, but it doesn't. But I'm gonna throw in like Unique, because from the 3 months that they said Famous was, I guess, gone or missing for, it was all of that stuff kind of like tied in, because Rock was pregnant with Unique's baby. Unique was alive after the beating that Rodney gave him, and he was kind of like scoping out the area and was kind of like, you know, creeping on people, because we seen when he was creeping on Lulu and he had the gun and he was going to kill Lulu that night, but he didn't kill Lulu that night. And that's when he kind of like held off on that. And we know that he was, you know, keeping tabs on Rock. He was keeping tabs on everybody. So the idea and the possibility of him killing Famous wouldn't be far-fetched at all, because if he sees that, okay, after the news that what Early told him that, Rock and Kanan, you know, working together, so he's just like, okay. And then maybe seen Kanan and Famous together, and then he probably like, nah, I'm gonna probably do something here, right? And then who knows, maybe he was the one who probably had that gun to Famous's head, and probably like, nah, he probably did it. Maybe he probably did it. Now let's just go off that narrative of if Unique did kill Famous, right? Then it would blow up the idea of Unique being Breeze, because I don't see a world where Kanan is gonna befriend Breeze after knowing that he killed his best friend, and then they be buddy. Like, no, I don't see that. So I think it would blow up that idea notion of Unique being Breeze and then being buddy together, knowing that he just killed his best friend and he's hurting. So it's like, no. So I think that wouldn't probably be the case if Unique did kill Famous. But if he did kill Famous, then it would kind of like cause it would do more for the story on Kanan, where it's just like, okay, now Kanan and Rock and everybody is going after Unique. Because keep in mind here, when we see Unique at the end of in the last episode where he showed up with Quan, and Quan was like, oh, you alive? And it's like all of this drama that he caused, you would think that Quan would be like, you know, you did all this crazy shit, and then you expect me to work with you after the shit that you did, right? And it's just like, I don't know. So I think if you're trying to have this like everybody's coming for Unique, then it would maybe make sense to a degree. It would probably make sense to a degree. For Quan's part, yes. And for everybody in the Thomas family, yes, it would make sense. Like everybody coming for Unique. And Unique has no choice but to fucking flee. But at that point, it would be hard for him to flee because everybody's coming for him. And then eventually somebody would get the drop on Unique and kill him. But again, for him to have killed Famous, I'm going to probably say no. I'm gonna probably say it's like a strong no on that part, because it's like, nah, I just don't really see like Unique killing Famous though. I don't. Just to get back at Kanan when his real anger and hatred was towards Rock, it doesn't make sense, and it wouldn't really add up into the story though. It really wouldn't, because he's trying to hurt Kanan, right? Unless you was to do like some sort of manipulation ploy of, you know, he kills Famous and then made it seem like somebody in the Thomas family did it. But it's just like, no, I don't think that would have been the case. It's too much storytelling for, like, you know, raising Kanan and power. So I highly doubt that's the case. I'm still leaning on to, I think probably Rock had something to do with Famous's death, because I think sooner or later we're gonna probably get like that backstory and that backstory where we're gonna probably see like, okay, Famous is somewhere, and then somebody got the gun on Fame's head, and then it's gonna be like, sorry Fame, I can't I can't trust the fact that you're still alive, and then the cops are still looking for you, because again, that whole Freddy shit. So it's just like, you gotta go, and then eventually we're gonna see who probably pulled that trigger. Now, the biggest question is, the real question is if Kanan does find out that Marvin did kill Famous, what's gonna happen? Like, is it gonna be where Kanan kills Marvin, and then maybe Jukebox and Kanan have that fight, or he kills Marvin, Jukebox doesn't know about it, and then they have a fight off of something that completely didn't happen, right? Like something different, right? That's what I'm kind of like thinking right now. But if not, then I still think it's gonna probably be like Rock and Kanan. I think it's gonna probably like still be like Rock and Kanan, because it only makes sense, because he'd be like, you had Lulu kill my best friend, and then you had Marvin kill my best friend, or maybe she killed Famous, right? And I think it's only gonna tie into like more of the reason why Kanan, was a lone wolf for a while, why he always had to do shit by himself, why he could never really trust anybody, was because of the manipulations what Rock did and everything that Rock done to him, right? Because he, again, that was talked about a little bit in this season, where it was just like, after everything that you did, you would think I would still go to school after everything. It's just like, no. So, and I think this will drive Kanan even further down the dark hole, where it's like, to know that, yeah, either Rock had something to do with it, or Rock did actually pull the trigger, and then he's just like, no, he's basically had enough of this shit, and he's just like, no, Rock has to go. No more protecting her, no more of this, because it's like, anytime he has something, it's always getting torn apart or pulled away from. Because I think the next person that probably could get torn or pulled away will be Crystal, because we know that Kanan likes Crystal. He's fucking with Crystal at the moment, but we know Rock is gonna be like, nah, y'all living together and y'all gonna have to break this shit up. Like, you're gonna have to break this shit up. So I think she could probably have a hand in that too. If nothing happens to Crystal like on her own or on itself, then maybe Rock could have something to do with that, which would only fuel Kanan's rage even further, to being like, you have too much control of my life, you controlling my business, you killed both my best friends. Nah, fuck this. I think that would drive anybody to be like, I gotta kill Rock, right? But if it's not just that, then it would probably lead him into maybe a further turn of maybe he's the one that wiped out his entire family. It doesn't really strike you as a coincidence that maybe that Kanan probably killed his entire family. Because think about it. If he killed Jukebox and he killed Sean, then what makes you think he probably didn't kill Marvin, right? He didn't probably kill Rock. And I don't know about Lulu. I don't know, because Lulu never really pissed off Kanan like that. They was kind of like mutual with each other. But what if Kanan was the one that wiped out the entire bloodline? What if he was the one to have done it, right? And like I said, I think it only makes sense though. Because we're always thinking and we always speculate that, oh, it could have been maybe this person, or it could have maybe been that person. But I think it's Kanan. I think all of that shit, I think it was all Kanan. I think it was all Kanan's business, that he took out his entire family. And I think that would be like the most coldest shit ever. But we still gonna get to see Jukebox's story, but I still think probably like Kanan did that shit. But I could be wrong. Could be wrong for most of it though. I could be wrong for most of it. But let me know in the comment section down below. Like, what do you guys think? What do you guys think who probably killed Famous? Because I mean, it's sort of obvious where I think probably Rock has something to do with it. It's sort of obvious, but then, like I said before, you could throw out the monkey wrench like, oh, Unique was stalking, he was creeping, and he killed Famous, right? He killed Famous, and he was the one to have done it, because they're trying to build up Unique as, oh, he's out there, he's this and that, and I'm like, sure, Unique is a noisemaker, but for him to kill Famous to get at Kanan is like, no, he would do something bigger to strike at Rock than Kanan. No, his beef was never with Kanan; it was with Rock. So I'm like, no, he tried to kill Lulu. So I'm like, I don't see Unique doing it. I just don't. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm still looking at Rock. I'm still looking at Rock to be the one to do it. But as always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I catch you all in the next one.